Da, 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 da. We're gonna live chat, baby. No intro today, other than my lovely voice singing. No, no intro. Didn't want to. Today's going to be simplistic. You can tell I got the picture, everybody up on the bar, saddled right up. Back in the day, that's exactly where conversations would start. It's over there, right at the bar. Hello, one and all. I'm actually kind of exhausted. I've had a busy morning already. Yeah, I got Mondayed. Yeah, that's a thing, man. Sometimes you just walk right in front of it, pwah, and it just gets you. You know, proverbial spot on the brick wall. You're like, whoa, how'd that wall get here? Hey, firefighter. Hello, hello. Right back at you. Thank you for your wonderful service. Doing what you do. Putting out fires. Saving cats from trees. Joking. Got a different look. No. Let me backtrack. It's not a look. All right, different location, a locale. But you can see that's the desk that I'm currently working on with my plans. Now, I got those plans and it blew my mind because I was like, okay. In my head, of course, this is trying to dig into memories that are 23 years old. The 23-year-old memories were telling me 4.5 feet was the length of the model ship I built. Oops! I was wrong. I even made a short of it. I was only 3 feet off. It's actually 7 feet, 7 inches. Go figure. Literally just sat down with lunch in the man cave. Perfect timing. Sweet! Yeah! From one man cave to the next. Oh, right? Gotta talk the man cave language. If there is such a thing. I have the side profile of the ship up on the wall, and again, my brain was still braining at 4.5 feet, not 7.5 feet. So when I put it on the wall, I was like, this should be centered. It should be perfect. And of course, 2.5 feet rolls over the doorway. Just bit off. Well, just keep readjusting. Well, come to find out, one of my walls up to the doorway is 8 feet. So I had enough room to leave the light switch. I was gonna cut a hole in the plans. I put a light switch in there, but I didn't do it. Well, wow, pretty cool to finish the project all those years ago. Well, I agreed. You know, but it's a mush of restarting as well. I really kind of wish I had the baseline model that I had, that I did create, so many moons ago. However, it didn't make the move when I moved from Maine to Caspa back in 06. Caspa, Wyoming. So, it's fine. I mean, I'm not a materialistic guy. Even if I put hours and hours or days, weeks, years, whatever. Actually, in this case, it was 3 years. Took me 3 years to get basically what you saw in the last finished stage that I had. And that was just getting it battle ready for RC warship combat. Sounded good at the time. Not me and my brother-in-law, we were right into it because he was making an aircraft carrier in the same scale. And you should have seen that. That was coming along good. He was pretty much at the same stage, 80, 90% done, whatever. He had, because of the length of his, he had to make his in half. So it was kind of a unique way he did it. Like mid the mid ribs. I forgot to turn my phone off. The mid ribs were like half-inch thick. So the two mid ribs, and they mushed up together just like that. And then they put bolts that he could unbolt, because to get it from his house to the pond, he had to unbolt it so it would fit. Because this thing was about the size of a canoe. So an aircraft carrier in this scale is really, really big. What? Who in the tarnations? I'm turning you off. I don't care. Yeah. See if you speak to me again. Yeah, Mr. Man. Well, okay. Blah, 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 blah. All right. Anyways, it's important stuff. Don't no important stuff right now. Brain needs to calm down. What do we got? Um, were you planning on fighting with him back then? I know you said you weren't doing the RC wars this go round. Yes and no. I'm glad you asked the question. Now on to the next subject. Now, yes, we were back then. I was I was ready. I was at that stage where I was ready to buy the mechanisms, the piping, and the mechanisms for each of the turrets. And with the North Carolina, I had three main turrets, and these shot out quarter-inch ball bearings. Now, there is another smaller scale that people do this primarily. 196 scale is not a normal scale to do this because of how big they are. The 144th scale, so 1 and 144th scale, right? That is the standard for RC warships. I just lost it. Told you, brain ain't braining. But anyways, yes, I was at that stage where we were about to arm it. I had already had the propulsion, that was ready. I had all the secondary guns. I wasn't going to go with the anti-aircraft. I wasn't going to go to that level of detail, but I did have the secondary guns, and I had the primary covers for the primary weapons. So I just needed the actual hardware, and then some more wiring and electrical. Woohoo! Which I'm not good at, but kind of by the seat of my pants kind of thing. So this go round, no, this is detail only. This is something that I really plan on passing down to my kids. Not that they would be interested in it, but I thought that maybe, just maybe, that they would be like, hey, this is something Dad made from scratch. He handmade this, right? So just something I wanted to do that not only I like, but something that they can, that they can keep as a keepsake somewhere. Everybody has room for a 7.5-foot model. I mean, duh, right? Even apartments have like a wall where you could just like board it up, reinforce steel beams, and just, my dad made that. So, yeah. But no, I'm not doing IC with this thing. So it's gonna simplify it in that aspect. So there's no electrical, but at the same time, it's going to push it into overload when it comes to detail. So, give and take. Wiring and electrical. Get 3 coats, and miraculously the lowest bid seems to always be the right choice. That's the fire department way. Isn't that the truth? Everybody tries to get the cheapest of the cheap, when sometimes Well, I would say most of the time, especially nowadays, you get what you pay for. I mean, there's a reason why that's a saying. So, um, not that you want to spend millions or thousands or whatever on whatever project, but yeah, totally get what you're saying. Yeah, it's insane. Like, okay, for instance, the house that we're in. Yep, exactly. The house that we're in was built in 1968. Matter of fact, this is the second house that was ever built on this particular road. That's kind of cool. Our next door neighbor uh, had the first one in this neighborhood. But yeah, 1968. Well, guess what? It has the original wiring. How do I know? Well, I'm the one that changed out all the outlets and what I did a lot of rewiring to most. How would I put it? Like the house needs to be rewired, but you're talking you're talking like easily a car loan type figures. You're talking 20, 30 grand. Easy to rewire this entire house. And asked me how I know, because I was trying to figure that out a few years back, and I was like, "There's just no way." Not to mention, um, they would have to go room by room, but they're not. The electricians do electrical. They're not. They don't patch up the sheetrock. They'll cut away what they need and blah blah blah, and then they'll get to what they need to do, but they don't patch it up. You have to do it yourself or have somebody else come in. And I've done enough. I've done enough taping and mudding in my life when I was younger. Working those silly jobs you do when you're younger. Um, I do it all myself anyways. I've done so many patch jobs on this house. It's not even funny. Dying breed. Holy buckets. Been a while, buddy. Hey. Yeah, been a while. I just read, how you been? Hanging in there. How you been, bud? Code enforcement is a money grab. It is. It is. Now, nobody's saying that I have to replace the wiring in the house. I'm just saying because I've dealt with it. It's now, mind you, you gotta think of the climate we live in. It's dry in a popcorn fat in North Dakota. Okay, the humidity is just something we hear about from people that complain a lot on the East Coast. There's no moisture in the air, so it gets brittle, and the wires are brittle. Because when you take your needle nose, right, and you got to cut off the wire, and then you strip it down, and then you take your needle nose and you do a simple bend, right? Um, because that's old school ways, right? The wire, in most cases, when I was doing the entire house a few years back, would just snap. Wouldn't take much. And uh, here's a here's a funny story. It wasn't at the time, but I'll tell you. I was in my boys' room upstairs, and the bathroom is on the other side of the wall. Okay, I had shut down that section from the breaker box to work on the outlets. I was installing a ceiling fan. So, like, everything was new switch, everything was brand spanking new. Mind you, I did that throughout the whole house. And I did it in quadrants, basically, sections, whatever you want to call it. And that was off. However, whatever monkey shit brain did the wiring originally back in 1968 happened to put the last outlet I worked on in my boys' room onto another breaker, which was in the bathroom. Now, I didn't shut off the bathroom breaker because I didn't need to shut off the bathroom breaker because the bathroom was not in my boys' room. It kind of logical, right? Like a little common sense going on there. Not for this turkey month. Oh, I'm telling you. Anyways, I'm getting there, and just like in Ghostbusters, don't cross the streams. Telling it, boom, sent me flying right back 5-6 feet. If I had long hair, it would be like Afro City, right? Yeah, my hair curls. But that was something else. Never in a million years did I think one little outlet in my son's room was on the same breaker as the one in the bathroom. So when I was undoing it and putting it back together again, my screwdriver tapped both, did something, tapped a wire it shouldn't have tapped, and I was backwards. So I had to figure that out. I came downstairs to the breaker box, shut down that breaker, and then went about my merry. But I was a bit. No, I'm fine. No, really. uh, Safety is big money, especially if they start fining for your safety. See, I don't have my glasses on. Fining for your safety. Yeah. Yeah, I'm down in southeast Georgia from Houston, Texas, so I know about humidity. And yes, it is good to know for the next time. But God willing, there won't be a next time. When we came in 11, we moved in this house 11 years ago. And since day one, we have been modifying and upgrading and updating, and we are still in the process of doing it because we don't believe in getting loans. We believe in saving the money until we have enough, without a shadow of a doubt, and a little bit more, because there's always stuff that comes up. Then we go ahead and we do the flooring, or we do this, or we do the paint, or whatever the case, or electrical, or we make sure we have the money. So we have done like this big loan and just got it done in one fell swoop? Yep. Ain't gonna do it though. Nope. I don't like credit cards. I don't like loans. I'm not in debt, and I got a good credit score, so I like leaving it that way. So, shocking experience. Boy, howdy. Tell you what, that got my attention, Mo Ricky Ticky. But, oh, yes. So, the reason why different locale, so you can like see different background here, wasn't out of choice, really. It was just best suited. You'll see that over there. Wait a minute. Woo! Right there. Okay, those are the plans I'm working on right now, drawing the hull lines. I thought I had the wood to get started, but I don't, so I'm going to have to wait till the first of the month when I get paid to go out and get the necessary wood. But my wife's father has a desk, or had a desk. We got it now, and that's what this computer is sitting on. But this desk, he used to work for a company. This desk is older than my wife. So, but it's solid. Heavy as all get out. But this thing is made of wood, solid wood. There ain't no wafer, chipboard, glued fiber, whatever. None of that crap that they sell today. Very solid desk. However, the desk has more space, like a lot more space than the one back there. So, we decided, hey, there's more room on this. Let's put the PC over here. That way I can use that one back there. So while she's on the PC, I can be working on my plans, boat, whatever. And that seems to be rocking and rolling. But that's why there's the difference. I got, there we go. Whoa, nope, this one. Ha! There's my dad's, Airborne. That was his BDU. And then, of course, doink. That is my BDU, Combat Engineer. Woo! So, and I told my my boy Chris, he's 20. He went to boot camp August 12th of this year. So he's been in training. From what I hear, he's doing really good. He's going into special forces, and I told him, I says, I want one of your BDU tops. I said, want to hang up 3 generations. You know, of course, we have in our family we have many generations in the service, and it was really cool. I was talking to somebody this morning about it. I said it's like picture like medieval times in England, right? Your family, if your dad was a blacksmith, you were guaranteed you were doing the blacksmith, right? It was just a family thing. And if your family was a chef or baker, then that's exactly what your family did. So it was like family lineage back then. Well, things didn't change much because with my family, going back multiple generations, we were always serving in some capacity. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, that's the way we are. No loans, no interest outside of the mortgage. Yeah, right, exactly. Um, we were able to go through the VA home loan and get a 30-year fixed. And yeah, we're 11 years, 11 years into that, 30 years shackled. But here's the cool thing: we refied. We refied. When did we refi? Trump's first term. Okay. Excuse me. It had to have been 18, 19, 2018, 2019, maybe. I might be correct. It doesn't really matter, but it was around that time we refinanced our home. And we did it because we got a call uh, from the people we got the loan through. And the guy said, because we were good friends with these people anyways, and the guy called and said, "Hey, look, the interest rate is at an all-time low." He says, "If you guys are willing," he says, "we can do up the paperwork today and refi your house at this new interest rate." And of course we talked about it and was like, "Yeah, absolutely." 2.75. That's the interest rate that we were locked in at, and still, obviously. Uh, so for us, moving is not an option because I don't even know if interest rates will ever dip that low again. At 2 and 3/4, are you kidding me? That was like a gift from the big guy upstairs, man. So got to live within your means, and your future self will thank you. Yep, that's the best way to put it, and that's how we've done it for, well, since ever, really. Um, so my prior marriage, she destroyed my credit bad, and it took quite a few years to try and dig my way out of a hole that she dug. And I'm not going to put it all on her. There was a couple of occasions, but I'm not built that way to just go spend willy-nilly and do this and do that. And I'm not a materialistic kind of guy. I could care less. Travel light, that's my mantra. But I always try and live within my means. There was a time before all of this, when I was a lot younger. I was eating ramen and bread with butter. That was my daily meal, and that was like that for years, a couple of years, easily. Just because it was on the cheap, and I didn't see the need to do anything else that was fancier than that. I look back on it now and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. You could have gotten a steak every now and then, but gonna be pretty cool to see the ship being built live. Yes, that was the other thing. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do some of the sections live. So while I was doing it, not necessarily the cutting, because that's kind of noisy, right? I'm not going to sit there and use a scroll saw or a jigsaw or whatever and be like, "Hey guys, plug your ears," and then make all this tons of noise. Yeah, sound effects are free, by the way. I'm not going to charge you guys for that. I'm just, it's the kind of guy I am. saying. Yeah, 3 generations that I have in BDUs. I don't have my grandfather's BDU or his grandfather, my great grandfather, and my grandfather's. Those are the two that I'm missing. I wish I had. Wish I had their BDUs, but c'est la vie. Respect. Thank you for your service. Well, yeah, not a problem. I mean, thank you. I'd still be in. I posted on firefighters. I don't even know, and I should apologize to firefighter now. I don't even. I watched the entirety of the video, and it wasn't a long video this time. No, I'm just joking. It wasn't a long video, but I was like, well, he had mentioned about like something to do with best job, like, and I can't remember because again, I was busy doing other things and I was trying to listen to him, and I could have sworn he said something about like what's your best job or whatever, and it clicked for me, and I had to just type right away. And then of course I listened to the rest of the video, and I'm like, yeah, that probably didn't make sense. My comment was a little woo out of the pack, but you know, sometimes my brain thinks faster than some things, and then falls. Let's see. Damn, yeah, they are never going back that low. I doubt it at least. We refinanced after 5 years, dropped from 25 years to 15, saved a bunch in the long run. Yep, 3.5. So we aren't moving to. Nope, nope. Don't blame you. No, if you can get interest rates down that level. Now, mind you, right now, interest rates, I think on average, are 6.5. So they are coming down because during, was it COVID? The COVID years. during the Biden administration, let's just put it that way. During the Biden administration, it was all the way up to like 12, 13. Can you imagine? There's reasons why the housing market just dropped off the face of the planet because there was nobody could afford monthly on a 30-year at 12.5, 13%. No. But I like the fact that you dropped it down to 15. Now when we refied, we did a 30-year. You know, we went back into a 30-year at 2 3/4. But that was fine by us. We were like, we just want the interest rate. Well, I mean, we're young enough. You know, I say that I'm 50. Dang. Anyways, we're young enough that it's like, okay, we can see. I can see the end, right? So when I'm 70, I should own the house. I think. You're not here for the sound effects. Are you here for the sound effects? Shit, I gotta come up with some new ones. Never need to apologize. I knew what you meant anyways and just replied to it. You can talk about whatever and I will answer. I know, but I'm, you know, it's for me to stay on topic is almost near on impossible. Like, I kid you not, dude. I am like so bad. I am a bouncy rubber ball in a small metal box. And that's my mind. It's going from subject to subject to subject to subject to subject to subject to subject, right? And it just it doesn't stop. So when I watch other people's videos and I go to comment, I'll like have to stop myself because I want to comment on what I just heard as if this was a conversation in real time. And it's not. And sometimes I have to just kind of pull back the reins. Actually, a lot of times I got to pull back the reins and be like, okay, no, I'll watch the whole video entirety. But I'm not the only one, apparently, that goes off the rails. Firefighter. So, you know, by the end of the video, I'm like, I've totally forgotten what I wanted to respond to at the beginning of the video. So now I'm just literally responding to the last thing I heard at the end of the video. Does that make sense? And I'm just talking about nothing at this point. Yeah, 12 or 13% with prices of houses being at least double on top of that. Yes, that didn't help. No wonder people say they can't afford a house and rent. It's tough. It has gotten better. Like I said, you can Google it. I think it's like 6.6 or something like that. It might be a little bit lower, like 6.5 ish, depending on, like, say, credit. I mean, there's all sorts of dependents, right, on this credit score. Your debt to income ratio. Things like that. That all plays a factor. In the adjustment of the base interest rate. So, but yeah, I'm happy with where we're at. It's not easy for a country boy like me that grew up in the serenity of the backwoods to literally have I-94 in your backyard. uh, for my wife, she's a city girl. This is normal, apparently. For a country boy, no, not so normal. Not so much. If it's a longer video that I plan on leaving a comment on, I write it out as the video goes on, mainly when I'm in the man cave making videos is when I watch a lot of these videos. Oh, yeah. Well, here's the thing. This is my main source, right? And trying to, like, leave partial comments going, I don't know. I find it's hard. I know what you're talking about, and that's actually a really good idea. But yeah, I'm mobile, and I don't even carry my phone most of the time with me, just because I find it to be a pain. I grew up in a time where you didn't have phones. You didn't have no, you had phones, but you didn't have cell phones. You had phones that were attached to the wall. Okay, landlines. That's the word of the day. Landlines. Come on, can we say it? Oh, half the people don't even know it. That's okay. That's okay. I've been wanting to get a landline back into the house. Um, Old houses like this, they were built for it. They were wired for it. Newer houses, find me a phone cord plug-in outlet in like the new houses that are built in the last 5 years. Ah! Oh, on your videos or your lives? Because I watch them both. I get entertained. I get entertained because of many reasons. One, I do find that we have a lot in common, but then I chuckle at the stuff that we don't have in common. This live stream, right? Not even planned. It was just, hey, I got time. I should do a live stream. Right? And here's how I prepare for the topics, okay? And there you go. Now, the way you do things is that you have things week in advance. You got prepped, you got bullet points, you got, and I'm like, I would just go batshit crazy if I had to prep like that. Like I was back in high school. Getting ready for the exam. That's gonna take 2-3 hours. And hope I get it right and stay on topic. It ain't. For me, it just doesn't work, but it works for you. So God bless you. They won't put in landlines in my area for years now. Only repair. Only repair. And I bet that's coming to an end too. Yeah. Well, here's the thing about this neighborhood. This is like one of the original neighborhoods, right? Um, we don't even have fiber in most of the state. Really, the only fiber like internet type stuff, since we're talking about like updated crap, is Fargo, Grand Forks. That's on the way eastern side of the state, right on the border. Because you got Fargo, Moorhead, and that's Minnesota. So high population way over there. I've called. See, I called the first time 4 years ago. I said, "You guys got fiber?" Nope. Because hey, in a couple years we should have fiber. In Bismarck. All right. So 2 years ago. So that was 4 years ago. So I waited 2 years and then I called back again. I said, "You guys got fiber in the area?" Oh, no, but we're close. In a couple years. Yep. Of course, that was 2 years ago. I don't even dare call because I'm just going to get the same bobblehead little mistress that's just going to tell me, "No, 2 more years." What in the flipping world? But no, landlines are still very much a thing here in Bismarck anyways, or in most of North Dakota, just because of how spread out and far apart everybody is here. Now, mind you, we don't have a high population in North Dakota at all. I think we have what is it, 700? It's over 700,000. But it's like 700 blah, blah, blah thousand, right? And that's state, not just city. That's like the entirety, right? Even Maine has over 1 million people, all right? North Dakota is just kind of still very open. Man, I certainly nerd out with my lives. Helps keep me on the rails somewhat. The chat is what makes it fun, and I'm happy to trend in different directions. But I do plan on quick 30-minute lives soon. 30-minute? Ah, dude, come on. Now, look, the way I do it, which is not the best way by far, but the way I do it is when I feel like I've exhausted any topics, or I've caught everybody up, or chat maybe slowing down a bit. I'll take advantage of that and be like, "All right, guys, we'll catch you later," and streams dead, right? If anybody wants to leave a comment, they can, leave the, post a comment, afterwards or whatever. Because in real life, I'm the type of person that when I say goodbye, it takes a half hour for that goodbye to actually be a goodbye. Because I'll stand up, "Oh, well, I got to go," and then we'll talk another 10 minutes, and I'll walk to the door, and we'll talk another 10 minutes. I'll open the door, we'll talk another 10 minutes. You see how that's rolling on? That's basically me. But shoot from the hip, the random 30 minutes, if they're random, shoot from the hip, man. Just if there's something on your mind that you want to get out, vomit it out. Come hell or high water, if anybody's in the chat or not, who gives two Twinkies? Right? It's your channel, use it as a venting tool. Like, man, I had a crabby day at work, and this happened and that happened, and guess what? There is guaranteed going to be at least one person that is going to sympathize and actually have been in that similar situation. And now you found that commonality. And now you're like, wow, hey, this person understands. He gets it, And then you walk away from the live going, dang, I feel like 1,000,000 times better. Not only was I able to chat with some friends, or the community, right? But, I was able to actually just kind of like air my grievances, just venting, and got it off my chest. And then you walk away, kind of like a little pep in your step. Da-da-da. Take the little lady out for dinner, and boy, have the night of your life. That kind of thing. Well, I don't know. Or something like that. Built in a timer too, 30-minute countdown, and then it goes back up in a red font just to pop in more often, where I can have an actual conversation in real time. Very true. It's a good idea. saying goodbye for 30 minutes. Yeah, I hear you on that. Isn't it? It's so true, right? Right? I mean, you get up and you're like, oh, okay, things are done. We're tapped out. Conversations like toast. Yeah, I'm getting tired. All right, I'll let you go. 30 minutes later, you're still at the door going, yeah, and next week we ought to do this. And it's crazy. Yeah, it was more so to get it out there, and if anybody wants to tune in or check out the playback, the one every 3 weeks is the longer one that has been around 2 hours. It has been around 2 hours. Will be structured. So yeah. I think you mentioned that last time, not the 30-minute one, but the you know you, your lives are structured. Now you did mention though. You did mention that. Let's see if I can't do it verbatim. Give me a second. Brain just shut down, or as I like to put it, I just had a brain fart. Okay, so you would mention. See, if I say it enough times, it'll just pop in there, and I'll just continue talking. I can't flip it right. Ah, rally cap. Okay. You mentioned. Nope. 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 It ain't there. Give me a sec. It was something to do with lives. Oh, you had mentioned that you might not, or it was brought up that you were just going to do whatever. Like scheduling really wasn't going to be too much of a thing because of how busy life gets on your end. And I feel you, because that's why I think I even piped up and I'm like, that's why I do what I do when I do it, or even if I do it, is because life is so hectic on my end that I cannot stick to a schedule, and I will not be bound to any schedule on a hobby platform. And that's all this is to me. It's a hobby platform that I get to have a chance to do what we're doing now, is to just communicate live with other people and chit chat. It not only gives me a platform to work off from, but it gives the community a platform to work off, because there's been numerous times where there's been somebody in chat that isn't having the best of days, and if you're able to just kind of shed or peek a little bit of light into their kind of dark afternoon, you walk away, that's a win, right? That's a win-win on both ends. So so yeah, if you're worried about scheduling, do it when you can. This isn't. And I'm preaching to the choir, man. You already know all this crap, anyways. But I mean, I'm gonna say it just because I'm older than you. You got to listen to your elders. Yeah, that's the only reason. Yep, nice memory. Okay. The last two episodes have been when they are basically done and not on a certain day anymore. Probably have shorter videos more often, no stress. And there you have it, sports fans. Oh, speaking of like videos, give me just a second so I can pull something up so I'm not like, trying to guess or have more brain farts. This was on Amazon that I found, assuming my phone will connect. We're sorry. The web ad. Oh, okay. Come on. Wow, is my phone being slow today? I keep looking at OBS too, because that one I did one stream where the dropped frames, the drop frames correlated with bad connection. So if I see any, like right now, I got 0 drop frames, which is connection is good. All right, you have a drone. This is good. There's more of an nah. We're both the same age, young at heart. There we go. I like that, young at heart. I am young. If you peel back the gray, it's all young. All right. So guess what I found? Okay. Now, well, just in case you didn't see it, get that. It's on Amazon. I have not ordered it, nor can I, because I got my play money is designated for the ship at the moment. But that drone, 4K, 84 minutes, super long flight time, 2,650 feet extended range, quadcopter drone, brushless motors, auto hover, follow me mode, 89 bucks. That's what really like got to me. I was like, that's affordable. I'd love to get into 3D printing personally, but even the cheapest of the cheap 3D printers is a couple $100. And again, that's above that. But a month and a half of saving, I can get a drone. I can do drone footages on the channel. Ugh. Even my boy was geeking out. He's 11. He's like, "Oh, Dad, you got to get it. It'll just be for my channel." And he's got his own YouTube channel, by the way. So, and it's a kid's YouTube channel. I wouldn't let him have a normal one until he's of age. But yeah, that's pretty cool. The whole stream has looked and sounded great. Appreciate it. That's good feedback. And I'm sure you see the same thing when you're on OBS. At the bottom right, it'll show drop frames, your kbps, the amount of time you've been on, your CPU usage, and what you have your FPS set to. Now, since I have a ancient computer, okay, the kbps has to be set fairly low, and the FPS has to be set to 30. So I'm not running 4K, 60 FPS with this. There's no way. I tried once and my computer went, yeah, I've never had a drone. Always saw them on TV. And of course, I've seen footage from people, using them more and more, and I've watched it from its inception to now. It's like everyday YouTubers are now putting up drone footages, right? Either in their videos or as that is the video, or whatever. Like, there's not a lot of like eye level footage being taken a lot anymore, and if it is, it's people doing this, like, oh, look at me, and then boom, drone footage. Oh, look at me again, boom, drone footage. It's that kind of crap. Drone footage is now taking over in the videos that I'm seeing, anyways. So, just something I wanted to say. Check out the reviews on YouTube. That's a super low price. Wonder how it does in the wind if it has GPS with your phone. If not, make sure you don't lose sight of it. Well, Wi-Fi FPV quadcopter drone, brushless motor, and then of course it's got auto hover and follow me, and it says it's for beginners. So that's what I like. Beginners. 30 frames per second is just fine. Oh, good. Well, I'm as long as it's not like, I don't know, pixelated, choppy, or whatever. Um, Sometimes I'll rewatch a live stream just to make sure that it's not completely booked up. Like the one that I had connections issues with was like a 35-minute live stream only because of the connection issues. But the issues didn't appear until the end of the 35 minutes because otherwise than that I would have just deleted the whole thing. But no, it seemed all right. Do you have a field nearby that you can practice? Yeah, yeah. The problem. Okay, so the only issue up here, anyways, lack of trees, more wind, and of course we get the Arctic winds that come in from the north. That doesn't help. Not like during the summer, like the dead of summer, it's usually like no breeze at all for like a week. Otherwise than that, it's always breezy and or windy. Okay, so when I say breezy, like an average windy day here is 20, 30 mile an hour winds, 40 gusts. That's average throughout the year. It's actually worse in the wintertime. But anyways, yeah, I do have a field. Um, it wind would just be a factor. That's all. You know, living on say like the East Coast or Southeast, lots of trees, lots of hills, and of course you got the Appalachian Mountains. I mean, it's just you got a lot of blockade for wind. Um, Out here, we have prairies, we have badlands. Uh, Everything is like wide open. So when the wind hits, which it always does, but when the wind hits, it's there's nothing deterring it. So some of the things you got to watch out for are the operating temperatures, winds, clearance, and lack of collision detection that might not. Oh, that it might not have. Oh, the collision detection. Yeah. Well, and I so because this is a cheap price, and we were just talking about that at the beginning. Remember, you get what you pay for, but this is for beginners. If I trash an $89 drone, I'll feel bad, like really bad, but not as bad as if I paid 300 for it or 500 for it, or the drones. You could just there is no capped price. I've noticed there are drones that are worth thousands of dollars that can do all sorts of funky stuff. That's not what I'm looking for. If I can do something that me and the family can just kick back and just kind of like dork around with, that would be kind of cool. You know, Especially the follow me mode. That's kind of cool. Like you could just set it up and then just take a walk with the family, and you got this little drone. I'm assuming flying behind you, right, recording the whole thing. So I'm assuming that's how it works. I've never obviously had a drone, so I don't know. Oh, definitely, they can be really expensive just to have fun and learn. They are really cool though. Yeah, yeah, and that's get my little foot in the door. And it may be the only drone I'll ever own, but I wanted to give it a try because it does look like not only fun, but I see uses for it, like when you use yours on your videos, or some of your videos, anyways. I think that's pretty cool. How you utilize drone footage, and there was one video you took where it had yours have has to have that follow me feature too, because it showed you riding, but it was like up. It was up. It was up, back. and to the right, and it was looking at you while you were driving. And I always wondered, I was like, how do they do that? I go, is he like, you know, got the throttle, but his other hand's in his lap with the remote control, and he's kind of doing this, like, oh, okay, it's still following me. I was like, how in the world, do they have that? Well, now I know that there's apparently a follow me thing with it. Yeah, typically you would set it and follow behind and use your cell phone to capture the object, to track, and then just start moving. That's just freaking wild. That is. That is just wild. Who tried calling me? Who tried calling me? Go away. Go away. Oh, yeah, I was. I was looking up. See, now I just. Sanded plywood, 1/4 inch thick. I know this is way off topic, guys. Just follow me. 1/4 inch thick, 2 foot by 4 foot pine sanded plywood at Lowe's. $15. It's more expensive than 23 years ago. No, I just set it down off the road, controller and phone, and hope it is there when I get back. I know, move to whatever topic. I get it. But it was just, I went to go close out the window for the drone that I popped up to show you guys. And then I still had the Lowe's page, Lowe's hardware there. Since it's right down the street. We have a Menards. We don't have a Home Depot, but we do have a Menards up north. But Lowe's literally is just down the street. Plus, I get the 10% military discount, which basically just takes off the tax for the most part, which isn't too bad. But $15 for a 2 foot by 4 foot 1/4 inch sanded ply, which really it doesn't matter if it's sanded or not, but it actually is easier to cut if it's sanded, because when you got wood that's bird and rough lumber. Oop. Should I? I'm going to. Hang on. Hey!
Are you streaming or something?
Why, yes. Look at that. You're on live stream.
Okay,
They finally saw Mrs. McAllister.
awesome. And I look fantastic.
You look fantan-doobly-tastic. Look at that. They're all saying hello.
Hi.
That's.
Okay, well, I wanted to talk to you about that email from Brooklyn, but I guess now's not a time.
I could get off the live stream. We can talk. We can talk
It's
B.
fine.
Is,
Fine.
you
Did you
sure?
get the email?
Yeah. No. Yeah. I got the picture.
Okay. Okay. That's all. Yep.
Did you get the
Have fun.
picture? Did you get the picture of Eli's new setup? Okay. I think you'll like it. Everything's plugged in. Everything's working.
We'll go live stream.
Okay. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. Oh, that's hilarious. I don't know if you caught it because I was doing this. I was like, the look on her face. She's like, I'm on a live stream. I'm like, yes, you are. Where is her channel? She building bombers to drop on your tiny ship soon. No, all she has to do is just step on it, man. She's just nah. She's good. She's good. She has no like zero interest in having her like a channel. Like she wouldn't even know where to begin. Years ago, when I was running it and I was doing all my modeling and stuff, my scale modeling, um, I asked her if she wanted to either be a part of it or and no, that's not her. That's not her thing. I was like, all right, all right, all right. She's a substitute teacher, and she's on her lunch break, and she didn't know. Actually, this morning she said that she probably wasn't going to be able to contact me like we normally do. When she's at work and and we talk over her lunch and whatnot. But she said she probably wasn't even going to have time. Well, now she has time. And I was thinking, I was like, wow, this is a perfect time to go have a live stream. My wife is the same way. I said I would edit all her videos, not a chance. Yeah, I know, right? Right? Of course, my wife knows better. I don't edit. Although, where is it? Well, I was going to bring it over here, but I am really close to creating the second video for the 196 scale ship. And of course, I created a beast because I edited the first one. I actually edited a video, but now I have to be committed. I should be committed to the project. I meant to editing videos. I'm not an editor. I really don't. I just don't. It's the one where I took hints from your channel of hiding in plain sight the episode number. So I put it up on the hull, and I don't know what I'm going to do for the second one. I don't know if I should stick with the same image, because that's of the USS North Carolina. I don't know if I should stick with the same image and then put it in different spots, or go ahead and find different images, and then I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. See, this is why I don't edit. This is too much. My brain's like melting. Okay. Substitute teachers were the best back in the day. Tough work right there. Man, no doubt. I was in, what grade was it? Was it fifth or sixth? Mind you, small town community. So, I mean, we had a substitute teacher. It was in fifth or sixth grade. No, it was sixth. It was sixth. One of the teachers were out sick, so they called in a substitute teacher. There were a few kids in my class that were so mean to her that she left the room crying. It was that bad. And even as a kid, I felt bad because I didn't like these idiots anyways that were doing it, but because I used to get in fights with them anyways. Back in the day where fighting was just a thing. Yeah, even teachers would turn their head, So, look at me editing. That's a poor attempt at editing, but you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. Yeah. Yeah, wouldn't that be something? Have the drone flying around me while I'm cutting the wood and whatnot. All in the furnace room, this little confined space. I picked up on that, and oh yeah. Okay, I remember that. I picked up on that, and makes it a little game to find. I know, right? I do that most of the time. The last one, was in the road with a little transparency. Be as creative as you'd like. Yeah, no, and admittedly, it is super difficult to look at a thumbnail on your mobile phone. Do I have to keep calling it mobile? Like people understand when I say phone, they just automatically know it's mobile. Anyways, it the thumbnail is obviously super small, right? And you can't like zoom, right? Like zoom and stuff like that. At least I haven't figured out a way. Uh, you click on it and then it starts the video. So I have to try and figure it out, and if I can't, I just give up. I'm like, well, whatever. But I try. I try to find them. Some of them are a little bit more obvious if they're on a location that you do that's like your mirror, right? Or, whatever, something that's in the center of the screen that has like a darker backdrop. I usually can pick them out even at a small scale. But yep. Well, this has been a blast. But I think I will go actually. Think I will call it quits. I got a couple more things to do, and yeah, the rally cap worked, man. I was having like brain farts left and right, and then I was like, rally cap. Here we go. Yeah, I might try and work on something where the thumbnail is within the video, so people can see something to think. Oh yeah, yo, I didn't even think about that. Where you can add the thumbnail as an like a picture in the beginning of the video, kind of thing. Possibly. But anyways, says thanks for popping on. Like I said, perfect timing. Now say goodbye for 30 minutes. Yeah, that's usually the way it ends up. So, to my OnlyFans, I mean, my YouTube people, peace out.